Attention, Commanders Nation! Get ready for the hottest news that's going to shake Washington, D.C. First, the heist of the century, Frankie Luvu. The Panthers practically gave him to us, and now he's our defensive beast. How did they let an All-Pro go? I'll tell you the behind-the-scenes story of this acquisition that could take us straight to the Super Bowl. But hold on, the future looks even brighter. Nick Scourton from Texas A&M is on our radar for the draft. This edge rusher is Dan Quinn's dream. Could he be the one to take our defense to the next level? I'll reveal why we need to draft him. And to top it all off, Marshon Lattimore is playing for his future this Sunday. With a $1 million contract and facing A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, the $1 million question is, hero or villain? Should we cut him if he doesn't perform or give him more chances? Attention Commanders fans! I have some juicy news that you're going to love. Are you ready? Because this is incredible. Remember when we signed Frankie Luvu from the Panthers? Well, let me tell you, that wasn't just a great move, it was a daylight robbery. And now we have the details on how it happened. It turns out the Panthers, in their infinite wisdom, or should I say stupidity, practically gave us Luvu. Can you believe it? I'm telling you, Carolina's incompetence gave us a gift wrapped with a bow. According to Joe Person from The Athletic, the Panthers rested on their laurels. They thought Luvu would stay just because he liked being there. How naive! When they finally realized what they were losing, it was already too late. Now, I ask you, how is it possible for an NFL team to be so careless with a player of this caliber? It just doesn't make sense. Luvu isn't just any player, he's a beast on the field. A second-team All-Pro who has revolutionized our defense. And let me tell you something else, the chemistry between Luvu and Bobby Wagner is simply spectacular. They are the backbone of our defense. Remember how we were before? I think we've made a quantum leap in defensive quality. But let's go back to the Panthers for a moment. They say they offered Luvu more money. Ha! That's just talk. The truth is, they were late to the party. By the time they wanted to react, Luvu was already in love with Dan Quinn's project. And speaking of Quinn, don't you think he's done a phenomenal job? He's turned Luvu into a superstar. From being an underrated player to one of the fiercest linebackers in the NFL. That, my friends, is what a great coach does. Now, I ask you, isn't it satisfying to see how bad teams keep making mistakes? The Panthers are the perfect example. Meanwhile, we're just one step away from the Super Bowl. One step! Who would have thought that a couple of years ago? And all this is due to the new mentality in the organization. Purpose, professionalism, stability. Words we didn't associate with the Commanders before, but now they are our daily bread. Luvu is the perfect example of what we're looking for. A leader on and off the field. Someone who inspires his teammates. He's the kind of player you build a franchise around. So, Commanders fans, let's rejoice. While the Panthers cry over their loss, we celebrate our bright future. Luvu is ours, and this is just the beginning. Now, I leave you with this question. Do you think Luvu could be the best signing in recent Commanders history? Look, I know we're all focused on the NFC Championship game. And rightly so. We're just one step away from the Super Bowl. Who would have thought? But let me tell you something, the future looks even brighter. Have you heard of Nick Scourton? If not, pay attention because this guy could be our next big signing. A new mock draft from A to Z Sports has us selecting this athletic phenomenon from Texas A&M. And I'm telling you, this guy is exactly what we need. Now, I ask you, remember how Dan Quinn loves those long, athletic edge rushers? Well, Scourton is like he was made in a lab for Quinn. He's an exceptional athlete with elite size. Can you imagine him on our defensive line? I can, and it's terrifying, for our opponents, of course. But wait, there's more. Scourton comes from the SEC, the toughest conference in college football. Yes, his numbers dipped a bit after transferring from Purdue, but you know what? That just shows he can adapt and compete against the best. Now, I think this guy has enormous potential. Yes, he needs to work on his body, but have you seen his speed? And the power he added this season? I'm telling you, with the right training, he could become a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. And speaking of timing, have you noticed that Dante Fowler might leave in free agency? Scourton could be the perfect replacement. It's like destiny is winking at us. But let's get to the important part. Some might say it's risky to pick Scourton in the first round. And I asked you, isn't that what great teams do? Take calculated risks, bet on potential. Look at the Chiefs with Mahomes or the Bills with Josh Allen. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts. Now, I know what you're thinking. But what if he doesn't perform? Well, I'll tell you this, with Dan Quinn as coach, do you really think he won't bring out the best in this guy? Quinn has a proven track record of developing defensive talent. And Scourton has all the tools to be special. So, Commanders fans, while we celebrate our current success, let's not lose sight of the future. Scourton could be the missing piece to keep our defense elite for years. And now, I leave you with this question. Do you think Nick Scourton would be the right pick for the Commanders in the first round? Or would you prefer we focus on another position? Let's talk about Marshon Lattimore. Yes, that Lattimore we paid a high price for in November. The same one who has spent more time on the bench than on the field. But listen up, because this Sunday could be his moment of redemption. We're just one step away from the Super Bowl, fans. One step. And we need Lattimore to be at his best. Why? Because we have to face those fearsome Eagles receivers, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Now, I ask you, do you think Lattimore is ready for the challenge? Because I'll tell you something, if he's not, his future in Washington could be at stake. Bleacher Report suggests that if Lattimore gets injured again or has a bad game, we could be seeing his last moments with the Commanders. Can you believe it? After everything we've invested in him. But let's be honest, isn't that what happens in the NFL? One day you're the hero, the next you could be looking for a team. It's brutal, but it's the reality of the game. Now, I think it would be crazy to cut Lattimore so soon. We paid a high price for him. A third, a fourth, and a sixth-round pick. That's no small thing. Getting rid of him now would be admitting a colossal mistake. But, and here's the crux of the matter, injuries have been a constant problem for Lattimore. In the last 3 seasons, he's only played 26 regular season games. That's concerning, don't you think? And let's not forget his contract. We're talking $18 million against the salary cap. That's a lot of money for a player who spends more time in the infirmary than on the field. But here's the thing, all that could change this Sunday. Imagine Lattimore shutting down Brown and Smith. Imagine a key interception, a pass defended at a crucial moment. That could change the entire narrative. So, I'll tell you this Sunday is not just a championship game for the Commanders. It's an audition for Marshon Lattimore. His future in Washington could depend on this game. And now, I throw this question to you. Do you think Lattimore will rise to the challenge? Or do you think it's time to look for other options in the secondary? Commanders fans, today we've taken an exciting journey through the latest team news. From the shocking signing of Frankie Luvu to the speculations about Nick Scourton in the draft and Marshon Lattimore's situation in the secondary, each news brings us closer to the next season. Now, I want to hear your opinions. Do you think Luvu could be the best signing in recent Commanders history? Do you think Nick Scourton would be the right pick in the first round of the draft, or should we focus on another position? And as for Lattimore, will he rise to the challenge in our secondary? Your comments are the heart of this community. We're not just talking about a team, but a family united by the passion for football. I invite you to subscribe to the channel so we can continue analyzing every move of the Commanders together. Share your thoughts in the comments and help us grow this incredible fan family. Don't miss our next video where we'll continue breaking down the latest team news. Click the subscription button, activate the notification bell, and be part of this exciting journey towards the Commanders' glory. And remember, hail to the Redskins!